Imagine having a baby 20,000 years ago. There is no hospital waiting nearby, no pediatrician, no formula, no clean bottle, no medicine cabinet, no emergency number to call if something goes wrong during the night. Your baby is born completely dependent on you, in a world where hunger, cold, injury, infection, and predators are real threats. And yet somehow your ancestors kept their children alive. Not once, not twice, for thousands upon thousands of generations. Human babies are unusually helpless compared with many other mammals. A newborn cannot walk, cannot find food, and cannot escape danger. It takes years before a child becomes physically and mentally independent. That should have been a huge disadvantage. Instead, humans developed a completely different solution. We raised children together. For most of human history, a mother was not expected to handle everything alone. A child could be surrounded by grandparents, siblings, relatives, friends, and other members of the community. While one person gathered food, another could carry the baby. While someone prepared a meal, another person could watch the children. This mattered because human children are expensive to raise. They require years of food, protection, attention, and teaching before they can contribute much to the group. So ancient humans didn't simply have children. They built a social system around them. And one of the most important parts of that system was keeping babies close. A newborn human cannot cling to its mother's fur like some primate infants can. Human ancestors also spent their lives walking across large areas in search of food and water. The baby had to come with them. That meant carrying. Adults could use animal skins, woven plant fibers, or other simple materials to hold infants against the body. The child stayed warm, protected, and close enough to be fed whenever necessary. This constant contact also meant something else. If the baby became distressed, someone noticed immediately. There was no nursery at the other end of the house. There was no monitor transmitting a baby's heartbeat to a screen. The baby was physically close to another human being. And that closeness could be the difference between a problem being noticed and a problem becoming fatal. Then came the biggest daily challenge of all: food. For a newborn, the primary food was breast milk. There was no industrial alternative. There were no sterilized bottles or specially manufactured formulas. Breastfeeding provided energy, fluids, and important immune protection. In an environment where contaminated water could cause serious illness, this was enormously valuable. It also affected the spacing of births. Frequent breastfeeding can delay the return of fertility, meaning a mother nursing one child may naturally have a longer gap before another pregnancy. That was useful in a world where raising two completely helpless infants at the same time would have been extremely difficult, but eventually the child needed more than milk. Ancient parents had to transform adult food into something a young child could handle. Meat could be cut into small pieces, roots could be cooked until soft, seeds and other hard foods could be crushed. Fire made many foods easier to chew and digest. Cooking was therefore not simply about making food taste better. It helped humans feed children who were still developing the ability to chew and process ordinary adult foods. And then there was another powerful advantage: experience. An older member of the group knew things that a young parent might not: where water could be found, which plants were safe, where animals migrated, how to preserve food, how to build shelter, how to treat an injury, how to recognize danger. This is one reason grandparents could be extremely valuable. Older people might no longer have the physical strength of younger adults, but they carried something just as important: knowledge. A grandmother who knew where to find reliable food could improve the survival of her grandchildren without ever hunting a large animal herself. And older children could help too. A child who was 5 or 6 years old might not be able to hunt, but they could watch a younger sibling, carry small objects, gather simple foods, or help with basic tasks. The entire group became part of the childcare system. But cooperation alone wasn't enough. Ancient children still faced dangers that modern children rarely encounter. A cold night could become dangerous. A fall could cause a serious injury. A wound could become infected. A poisonous plant could kill. A predator could attack. And diseases that are now treatable could once be deadly. This is why ancient childhood was far more dangerous than childhood in modern societies. Many children did not survive. That part of the story is important. We shouldn't romanticize prehistoric life as peaceful or natural perfection. Ancient humans were incredibly successful, but they were not invincible. They lost children. They lost mothers. They suffered famine and disease. They endured injuries that modern medicine could easily treat. What made humans successful was not eliminating every danger. It was reducing danger through cooperation, knowledge, and adaptation. A baby didn't need one perfect parent. It needed enough people paying attention. If the mother was exhausted, someone else could help. If the father was away hunting, other adults could protect the child. If a child became sick, several people could respond. If food became scarce, the group could search for alternatives. That created something extremely powerful: redundancy. The survival of the child did not depend entirely on one person being strong enough, awake enough, or knowledgeable enough every second of every day. There were other people. And this may be one of the deepest secrets behind human survival. We evolved to depend on one another. A human child spends years learning how the world works. They watch adults, copy them, make mistakes, and slowly develop the skills needed for survival. How to find food, how to use tools, how to communicate, how to recognize danger, how to cooperate, how to care for younger children. This long childhood gave humans something no animal could simply be born knowing: culture. Every generation inherited knowledge from the previous one and added something new. A child was not just another mouth to feed. That child was the future hunter, gatherer, builder, healer, parent, and teacher. Keeping children alive meant keeping knowledge alive. And there is one final part of the story that is easy to overlook. Ancient humans didn't know anything about evolution. They didn't understand bacteria, they didn't know about calories, immune systems, or developmental psychology. They simply learned what worked. Keep the baby close. Feed it. Keep it warm. Protect it. Watch it. Teach it. Help the mother. Share the work. Pass the knowledge forward. Those simple behaviors were repeated for thousands of generations. And eventually, one of those children became your ancestor. Then another, then another. Think about what that means. Every person alive today comes from an uninterrupted chain of children who survived long enough to grow up and have children of their own. Somewhere in that chain, there was a mother carrying a crying baby through the cold, a father returning with food, a grandmother watching children while others worked, an older sibling helping with a younger one, someone keeping a fire alive through the night. The child belonged to the family belonged to the group, and the group made sure the child had a chance to become an adult. That system helped turn one of the most helpless newborns in nature into the most adaptable species on Earth.